money.
Yeah.
And going live in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the 100 Millionaires podcast. My name is Walter Amarillo. The point is not to work, it's to generate income. Mike Shine, why don't you bring us in?
Oh, thanks. Massive income from passive income. Let's go get it. Splinterlands.
Mitch Jorsky, what is your phrase?
You got to organize and collect. And I guess you can do that in Splinterlands along with all the other cryptos. Stakey, rental income.
So for everybody listening who knows, we're real estate investors. We're invested in a lot of different assets, including stocks and crypto and businesses. And today we're going to talk like basically just crypto today. I'm pretty sure that's all we're talking about. We had Neil, we invited him on to learn a little bit about Splinterlands. Then Cal became available and we're like, well, shit, we got to get Cal in here because he's the king of Leo and Cub and the source of a lot of our income. So let's give Cal and Neil a nice warm welcome. Welcome.
Hey. Woo. Hey guys. Hey Cal.
So which one of you's got to get out of here first? Because we'll just start grilling you with questions.
I think Cal's got a little time limit, so
all right, let's do it.
Which works. We got the overarching, theme of Leo on Hive, which can lead toward Splinterlands talk.
So I like it. So then, Cal, I just got to ask, what's the future for Leo? When are we going back to $1? I'm diamond hands anyway, so.
Yeah, okay.
Damn diamond hands. Regrets. Not in the long term. It'll all pay off.
I'm excited. I'm up to almost 65,000 Leo, which makes me no longer a dolphin. I'm somewhere in between dolphin and whale.
No, and Leo, that's a whale.
Yeah, that's awesome. Nice job.
I made it somewhere in life,
Nice.
I can't
Cal, we can't hear your audio.
Cal. Do you hear Cal?
No.
But now,
Nope.
Still not. No,
Not muted, but not mic'd.
So for everybody who's listening who doesn't know who Cal is the creator of Leo Finance, creator of Cub DeFi, and Neil McSpadden is one of those people who is just way up there in the influencer world of crypto. So they run the AMAs for Leo Finance, and which is something Mitch Jorsky's a part of. And Neil's also, we're calling him the authority on Splinterlands, which is a cryptocurrency. So, Cal, can we hear you now?
Maybe.
It's going to new headphones.
Well, I guess while we're waiting for Cal, we can ask Neil some questions on Splinterlands.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, Mike, what is your question?
Yes. So no,
how do you make money?
Mike has all the questions.
I guess I wanted to know if I don't want to play Splinterlands, is the best way to make money renting the cards, or is there some better way? And how do you know which cards to buy?
Does everybody know what Splinterlands is? Or
I was going to say, please cover that because we're making assumptions here.
Nice job.
Okay, so Splinterlands is a game that operates on the Hive blockchain. It is a card battle game. So if you've ever played Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering, it's in that ballpark where you have cards, you are matched up with somebody else, you pick cards, and then you battle. Whoever wins gets rewards. So there's different types of rewards, but basically you win rewards for winning a match. You win rewards for completing your quest each day. You win rewards for placing within a ranked ladder each season. There's 2 seasons a month. You can win rewards from tournaments, and those rewards, because it's based on a blockchain, are actual cryptocurrency tokens. So then you can go turn around and sell them or do whatever you want with them. And by placing these assets on a blockchain rather than like Hearthstone, they can just turn off your account and then you're done. You have no access. There's no nothing. There was a pretty famous case probably 2 years ago now where a guy won a big international Hearthstone tournament, and he said something about Hong Kong supporting the people who were protesting there, and they just said, "Okay, you're done," and they will just turn that off because you're just using their stuff. But on blockchain, you own your own things. So that's a major difference, and allows us to do all these earning kinds of things, these passive income sort of things. So that's kind of the context of what Splinterlands is. Within that, there's lots of different ways to make money. So some people buy cards, play, and then get rewards. Some people buy cards and then rent them out and earn like a rental income. Some people will rent cards and then use those in tournaments and in season play, and then earn the spread on the difference between the rewards and the rental costs. There's also, starting about a month and a half ago, there is a new governance token called Splinter Shards, and you can stake those in the game, earn about, right now it's about 125% in terms of the yield on that staking. You can also put those tokens to work in a liquidity pool. I think you guys have talked about that with other tokens.
Yep.
And so you can do the same thing with SPS, and then you can earn cake rewards from Pancake Swap. So there's a lot of different things, to do. If you want to do nothing and then make money,
Passive income.
Yeah, passive income. If you want like truly passive income, probably putting them into a liquidity pool is probably going to be the easiest thing, and then you just collect cake every day or however often, and do whatever you want to do.
And that's on Pancake Swap, or is that on Cub?
That's on Pancake Swap.
Gotcha.
Wait a second.
There is a rumor that there will be a kingdom on Cub DeFi in the future, but
That could be possibly helpful, but correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe I don't know about a pool. Right now, I have cake staked earning SPS.
yes, you can also do it that way.
I didn't know there's a way to earn cake. What do I stake to earn cake?
You stake SPS and I think it's BNB.
Oh, the farm. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Correct. Yes.
Where is this? This is on Cub DeFi, or are we on
Pancake Swap.
Pancake
Swap?
Got
So that's the real do nothing kind of approach. You're a market maker. You're providing liquidity for people to do swaps, and you're earning a yield on top of that.
So Splinterlands, is that on the Hive blockchain? It's actually a Hive.
Oh yeah,
it's a Hive DApp.
Yeah, but it interfaces with Binance Smart Chain. Splinterlands actually interfaces with Ethereum, with Tron, with Binance Smart Chain, and with Wax. So it's got a lot of portals that you can go in and out through. But there's more to it. So if you want to go a little bit more active, you could buy cards and rent them out. So just like if you have a let's say a short-term rental property, like you're doing Airbnb or VRBO or something, it's a lot more management. You got to be on top of the prices. You got to be, if somebody comes in as a neighbor, like if you have a condo or something, somebody in the same building is, undercutting your prices. Well, you got to compete, how many people are looking for those properties, and, how much can you charge in order to still get, the occupancy rate that you want, and trying to maximize your value. So there's a little bit more work there. But it's not, you're not frying French fries or anything.
How do you get the knowledge to, the work is just playing the game and realizing which ones are valuable, or is it?
Well, yeah, so there's that. There's also some third-party tools that have made exploring the marketplace a little bit easier. So the one I use primarily is peakmonsters.com. So on Peak Monsters, you can go in and you can look at the rental markets, and you can say, okay, these types of cards are renting at 20% annual yield. These other cards over here are renting at 150% annual yield, and so you might want to buy those before I buy the 20%, because the market is indicating that there's more demand.
And what's the range of prices for cards? I mean,
it's anywhere from less than $1 up to like 10 grand. So it's widely variable, and so it allows for all kinds of budget ranges that you might be interested in, because you don't need just one card.
NFTs, or is that kind of how they're?
Yeah, so these are NFTs, and for for the crypto normies, that means non-fungible token. So crypto has fungible tokens like Bitcoin, If I give you this Bitcoin versus that Bitcoin, it's all the same. It all spends the same. But non-fungible NFT means that they are not interchangeable. So this NFT is a level 4 gold foil alpha Lord of Darkness in Splinterlands, and this NFT over here is Rusty Android. That's level 1. So those have entirely different behaviors in the game. They have entirely different values on the marketplace.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm interested in Splinterlands. I just signed up because it's on Hive. I feel good about it.
Yeah.
So
We actually just had a little Discord hiccup where the server was inaccessible for like 2 minutes and people were freaking out. But,
yeah, can you imagine?
but on
Another
blockchain,
game.
everything remains. It's not dependent on Discord servers.
Which is important. Everything stays out there. It's in existence. Which reminds me, Cub. We got some IDOs that just came out for. We had one IDO come out. How did that IDO go as far as like what was expected and the actual results? No.
Come on,
it's
Cal.
not
What's
working.
going on with
Damn
the
it.
audio today?
Nothing.
Wow. The short version is from a technical side, the IDO actually went great for Cub. There was no technical hiccups. Everything performed as it was supposed to perform. So from that point of view, it was a big success and a great beta test for bigger coming IDOs such as the Poly Cub, which I know most of the Cub and Leo communities excited about the most. As far as Cake Pop itself, that's another story.
Mitch, can you just go over to Neil's house, Cal's house, and just like fix his audio for him?
Right.
He's like the main player here. We want to get the feedback, the information from the source, from the creator himself.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. He was on a podcast yesterday, chatting away with Taskmaster and those guys. I was amused by that. Neil, I don't know if you watched that, but I was laughing.
Am I live now?
There he
There he
is.
is.
Woo.
All right.
We have volume.
So Cal, how do you think the launch went?
Yeah, I think it went great. I heard Mitch say from a technical perspective on the the IDO contracts we built and the UI and everything, it went perfectly. So I'm actually writing a post about it right now, but it basically, we had it set up as it had to go live at a specific time. It had to raise a certain amount. It had to end at a certain time, and everything performed exactly how we wanted it to. So from that side, exactly, as expected. And then, obviously the Cub got burned in the end. So it was a nice little test run. We got to see everything work, but it also, and this is kind of what I'm getting at in what I'm working on right now, which is it kind of showed us that the Cub -BUSD IDO model is not necessarily flawed, but it can be improved. So we actually redesigned the IDO contract to be a little bit different for the next one.
Excellent. What are some of those changes that you noticed? What were the flaws?
Well,
Opportunities.
it causes it causes a it's kind of like a Bitcoin halving, which is kind of how I perceive it, which is you expect that a supply shock will have an instantaneous impact on price, and that's what people are looking for. So leading up to the event, it's kind of a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. So people buy the rumor of there's going to be a major supply shock, but then they sell the news of, oh, we had a supply shock, but nothing really happened. So supply shocks are definitely a more long-term impact. So I do think it kind of creates an interesting dynamic where if you have a Cub BUSD IDO, some people are obviously going to sell Cub into BUSD to participate. So the new IDO system, which is kind of one of the later models that we're going to implement, but decided to push it forward, is where the IDO will be Cub-IDO token. So you'll deposit 100% Cub, and then at the end you'll spit back Cub and the IDO token as an LP format, and then a new farm will be created. So it's a little bit different, and then it won't have that kind of short-term negative impact on the price, which I think a lot of people kind of perceive as a negative thing, which it's kind of, I think it's kind of neutral because, if people are going to sell Cub into BUSD to participate, it's just a short-term impact.
Yeah, and it makes sense.
Definitely not good for overall sentiment.
I've used that as an opportunity to buy. I just keep buying Cub as I see the price dropping. It becomes more and more hitting my buy target, which is anywhere as low as 45 cents. But anything under 70 is buy for me. So we're deep into the buy mark. Really, anything under $1 right now for Cub is buy for me. So it's this is discount season, right? Like it's discount season. Nobody sees it. Nobody gets it. Blows my mind. Capitalize, right?
It's
With
supply demand too. I mean, think about what Cal was just talking about. We're talking about the burn and how people might have been disappointed that price didn't go up. And just because you remove supply doesn't mean price goes up. You still need the demand side of the equation. So the next demand catalyst, whether it's the Cub Poly IDO or whatever it is, it makes it that much easier to put for price to push up because now you have less supply. So, right. I mean, it's a success anytime you have a burn. Then it's just what's that next catalyst on the demand side, and I think people don't realize that was maybe a big catalyst with Ethereum recently with that EIP switch. And they actually, for the first time ever, had a deflationary day where they burned more than was actually produced. And that's always going to be a positive catalyst. So that's essentially the scenario that is being created in Cub. It's just more so, I think, sporadic events when you get these big burns based on the IDOs.
I like that. And for me, like belief in a token and user of a token, like utility of a token, people using it is where a token's long-term, growth is. Like look at Dogecoin. It's got no utility, but it's got a community behind it. Right? It's got just a massive group of people believing it because of, Elon making one tweet. And then picked up by other influencers who are picking up that same kind of concept.
And there's a valid point behind that, think about XRP nonstop, especially on TikTok. People XRP, SEC lawsuit, they're gonna win, and they're promoting the the usability and the transaction times and 4-second transactions. And I was like, my response was, okay, Hive has 3-second transactions and is a feeless blockchain delegated proof of stake. Tell me why I'm buying XRP. But XRP has got a following that is like 1000x what Hive is. You know what I mean? So there is very much weight in that. It's, that cult following over even functionality, and fundamentals. So I think Leo, Cub, Hive all together, still got to build that following. And I think that's a big piece of that demand side.
And that's what, is always my question with any kind of token is how do we get more attention behind it? If it's, the Hive is a great token, right? Absolutely. And Leo's got a great community behind it. And then Cub has a lot of functionality. But what is, how do you get these to a platform where they're promoted by somebody else, right? Like that's always the easiest path to success is somebody else is promoting them. Somebody else with a big audience is promoting an exchange. The big thing would be to get onto one of the major exchanges or even some of the smaller exchanges. What's blocking Leo right now from getting to one of those exchanges?
Yeah, actually, someone asked that in one of our AMAs, and I actually think that the centralized exchanges they can be a decent tool, but unless you're going to something like a Binance or a Coinbase, it's not going to be that much. They kind of expect you to do your own marketing, and it's not going to be like a huge hype cycle. So I actually think there's a lot more value in the decentralized exchanges. So when you look at things like Thorchain and some of these early dexes, and if you can kind of partner with them, so kind of a rough roadmap for what we're trying to do with Cub and Leo is get to a bunch of these smaller exchanges and smaller platforms on Binance Smart Chain and Polygon and some of these other chains that are popping up. And collaborate with them. So kind of bring in, put their token in a farm, and then in exchange, they put our token in a farm, and just kind of, it's kind of like that like for like model that social media was built on. Basically do that and keep going with small platforms, then move up to some mid cap and then large cap platforms. And And as we go, we kind of sponge up all the audience members from those different platforms. So I kind of think
like
that's
that.
the rough. Yeah, that's kind of like the rough roadmap for marketing in the next. say,
Can
2
you,
months.
Cal, can you
It's
give
influencer marketing, really. That's what it is.
Yeah.
100%. So, and speaking of that, I mean, I think getting the word out on everything that is available and is the Leo universe. So, like, Cal, can you give a quick just rundown of all the dApps essentially in the Leo universe and a bullet point on which, each of them are or do? I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot.
You got
So
time for
there's-
this?
You got a couple hours. There's leofinance.io, which is obviously the main, that's the home base. That is, in short, a Web3 version of medium.com. So it's, people can blog about crypto and they can earn crypto because it's tokenized, and obviously all the content is stored on a blockchain. So it can't be, your data can't be stolen away by Twitter or Facebook.
And YouTube
and then
can't block you.
Yeah, YouTube can't block you. Leo, we can block you from the Leo Finance UI, but then you could just spin up your own UI or go to one of the other 50 UIs on the Hive blockchain and see the same content there, because it's all being read from the same blockchain, from the same underlying blockchain. So that data, the underlying data can never be taken away. So that's kind of the key point of Web 3.0. So you've got that. Then you've got Cub Finance, which is kind of when I try to explain Cub to different people, it's kind of a decentralized hedge fund is kind of the best way to understand it. So people can pool assets, and instead of AUM, which is assets under management, you have TVL, which is total value locked in the protocol. So that value that's locked in the protocol gets invested out into these different pools by smart contracts. And basically some of the fees get brought back into the ecosystem and are used to buy back Cub and give the underlying, hedge fund token its value. So that's kind of how Cub works. And then you've got LeoFi, which is a new app we launched a couple of weeks ago, which is for leasing out Leo power. So you can obviously stake Leo, and then now you can lease it out on a decentralized marketplace. Then you've got LeoDex, which is an exchange, so people can trade Hive-based assets on that exchange, and they can do different activities on it. Hive Stats is a UI for tracking your Hive statistics. So that one's kind of self-explanatory. And then Leopedia is kind of a little ugly stepchild project that's been left behind for a little while, but it's kind of this idea that we can boost our SEO, boost our our readability, and create a little Wikipedia for crypto knowledge. So I do think at some point we'll come back to that and kind of revamp that idea, but it's still there. So that's kind of like the core apps, and then you've got other stuff like Wrapped Leo and the UI behind that, but more like utility for those. Kind of a little.
Very interesting. It's so the one that I've heard a lot about is something maybe called Dpulse or Project Blank. What is going on with Project Blank?
Project Blank is a long-term vision that we have for basically a decentralized Twitter on the blockchain. So that project is we're planning to roll it out by the end of the year, and it's basically exactly what it sounds like. It's Twitter on the blockchain. So you'll be able to tweet, you'll be able to reply to tweets, short form content, talk about any topic, and it's going to be similar to you could take the idea that Leo Finance is kind of a medium.com but for Web3. Project Blank is a Twitter for Web3. So that's kind of where we're headed with that.
I like that. That gives us a lot of flexibility as far as content we can create and how long it takes to create content.
When?
And engagement. I think that increases engagement. Twitter is all about comment.
When?
Go ahead, Mitch.
When?
No,
When?
Mike just said when, so I said
When?
soon day.
When?
Walter, when Cal mentioned obviously Wrapped, like Wrapped Leo, obviously crypto normies probably don't know what that means. And essentially what that is it's taking the Leo token and putting it on another blockchain. So like WLEO is basically Leo on the Ethereum blockchain. So if you are on the Ethereum blockchain and you have Ethereum based coins, which are called ERC20s, then you're able to essentially get Leo. You can, get some wrap Leo and then essentially have exposure to the Leo token, because a wrap token is basically just a derivative of the actual token. The same thing. There's wrapped Bitcoin on the Ethereum blockchain as well, and it's basically a derivative of Bitcoin. It basically just moves and trades the same as Bitcoin.
I like it. I like. So one of the reasons I'm invested in Leo is because it's a way for me to learn. Right, it's a way for me to learn. It's a way for me to earn, and it's a way. It's a currency. Like it's actually a cryptocurrency that I can invest in, and I can see returns from it. Right. So it's like I love the platform. And I love the information that's out there and all the space that it gives me to speak and share as well. But I got to ask Neil, because you're one of the biggest whales on the platform. What do you see for the future of Leo Finance?
I am super excited for Project Blank. I think that's going to actually be a game changer. So the blogging model, I think, is it's good. Cal, like if you listen to the AMAs that he's done, he's talked about community pages where like there'll be different pages for each token where that particular community can get together and talk about things. And I think that's all going to be great. But, if you look at social media, the vast majority is just interpersonal, quick things. Twitter, sharing something on Facebook with your friends and them liking and, commenting. Not everything needs to be 1,000-word article, and not everything should be. So I think that's going to increase the utility a lot. And I don't know anything about the tokenomics because Cal refuses to tell us anything. But I can't help but think that it will be positive for the whole Leo ecosystem. On the other side of things, with Cub DeFi, the IDO, farming is great. I'm in the farms. I've got tons of tokens there. But the IDO is really a long-term game changer because like Mitch was saying, if as supply is consumed, then additional demand events create larger swings. So if at IDO 1, there was so many Cub available in the market, people were buying up, price went from, 50 cents to 75 cents, something like that. And, after that, people, some were selling, some people sold Cub in order to fund the IDO because you had to have half Cub, half BUSD. So afterwards, the price, came back down. The next time there's an IDO, that same demand will have less supply to buy. So the price movement will be larger. And I also think that subsequent IPOs will also be larger in total dollar amounts. So we'll see much larger swings. I'm trying to put together an IDO myself that will go on Cub DeFi for, it'll be a 7-figure kind of deal. And, I guess when we're closer, I'll be happy to tell you guys because you'll enjoy the passive income portion of that IDO. So
yeah, you can't just drop that and not tell us a little bit more about it. So
Walter, I'm gonna make it worse. I may know very well what this is, and
oh come on,
gonna have to hold out on you too, bro.
Yeah, but you'll like it, I promise.
So more IDOs coming for
more IDOs coming, and less Cub for each individual person to buy. So I think we'll see some nice spiky prices out of that. Obviously not financial advice or anything, but
yeah, not financial
the
advice.
IDOs kind of have an interesting snowball effect, which I think is kind of what Neil was getting at, where you've got one IDO takes out, like this one took out 180,000 Cub. The next one might take out, somewhere between 500,000 and 1 million Cub. And then the next one takes out, say, 500,000 to 1 million Cub. And then with each IDO, there's less Cub to be bought and used and burned. So the impact on price is exponentially higher.
Which is nice because even though Cub, like that's one of the problems with Cub is it's an inflationary token. It's always creating more and more of itself exponentially. But what you're able to do is actually slow it down with the burns. You're literally killing supply, taking it off the marketplace. So what is, I guess, the what is the easiest path if somebody wanted to get into Leo now? Because I know it's a little bit easier than it was previously. When I started, it was like I had to go through and create a MetaMask, then I had to get a Hive signer, and it was a whole process to get into Leo Finance. What does that process look like now? And is there even more simplification coming down the road?
Yeah, so in terms of being a user, we've kind of simplified it so you can log in with things like Twitter and Google and all these different connection apps, and basically just sign in without having to create a whole new process. Like you got to get MetaMask, you got to do all this stuff. So if you just want to be a Leo Finance user, that's kind of how you could go about it. And I think most people have Twitter accounts these days, so using Twitter, you can even use a phone number or email if you prefer those. So we've kind of simplified the options on that front. And then in terms of, buying the tokens, obviously, Cub is going to be the harder one to get because it's only on Binance Smart Chain. Leo is a little bit easier. You can get it on Ethereum, the Hive blockchain, or Binance Smart Chain, and then Polygon also soon. And then in terms of becoming an LP and doing all that stuff, obviously you got to go down the rabbit hole of MetaMask and all that stuff. And then later down the line, we've announced that in October we're releasing the mobile app for Leo Finance. So there's going to be a native iOS and Android mobile app that you'll be able to download, and it'll have those email, phone number, Twitter, Facebook, Google sign up options. So I think that's going to be super easy because then anyone with an iPhone or an Android could go to the App Store, download it, create an account instantly, start playing around with it, earn some Leo, and see how they like it.
I like that as a feature. Like we discovered maybe 5 years ago that everybody was away from desktop. We were doing a lot of Facebook desktop ads, desktop content, desktop websites, and we had to shift away to get into the apps because everybody fills out their forms on their phone. Or anything that they click on, they're clicking and they're mobile immediately. And so getting away from the desktop backgrounds, desktop usability, and getting more towards app is really the future. It really is. It's actually almost the past. It's like it's a present. We got to catch up, right? So I love that. Go ahead, Mike.
I got a question for Cal. So I know the W Leo ETH pair on Uniswap gets, I guess it's been standardized so you get your geyser reward every 2 weeks.
Yep.
Is there some way where you can see what the APR is on that, or because I can never tell what I'm earning there versus say I do Cub BUSD and I'm always looking to maximize the APR.
Yeah, so with Cub, there's obviously a UI and it calculates all the dividends because they're very predictable, right? So you've got a certain amount of Cub per block, you got a certain amount of TVL, and then you can calculate the APY from that. With the geyser, it's a little bit different. So the geyser actually uses kind of a back-end script to basically pull all the LPs in real time. And then it's called a geyser because the longer you're an LP, the higher your rewards are relative to other LPs. So let's say you were an LP on day one versus someone who's an LP on day 100. The guy on day one is obviously going to earn more, per wrapped Leo ETH that they have in the pool than the guy on day 100. So we haven't built a UI yet that can handle that calculation. And I think we will at some point. Especially, if we migrate over to ThorChain, which is kind of loosely in the roadmap. So if you want to calculate the APY, the best way to do it is just to take the last payout you got and divide it by the value of your LP. And then obviously you want to extrapolate that out for a year since it's for about 15 days each payout. So that's kind of the raw manual way you got to do it versus how it is on Cub.
That's a really good question. Really good answer.
Yeah, sort of splitting. If I have a lot on Cub SD, love that one. Got my kids involved with it now too. Took some of the Cub that I earned and gave them each a MetaMask and 5,000 Cub, and watch an 8-year-old kid's eyes light up when he makes $43 worth of Cub. It's awesome.
I
Yeah,
think
cool.
there's a whole segment of Cub finance users that are envious of Mike's 8-year-old right now because he's earning more Cub than they are. There's guys in Europe slamming their keyboards right now.
I just it'll make you guys feel good because I told them that this is a long-term play, and could you imagine how much Cub Jonah will have when he's 18 years old? So 10 years of harvesting, every day or every week or whatever.
College, aka business startup fund, created from Cub.
Right. So awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Accidental diamond hands, right? Like they're just, just the account's there and it's just earning. And
oh my God, they're much better than me. They don't even. I'm like, hey, you got like $3,500 worth of Cub right here. Let's harvest, and they're like, yeah. So yeah, but it's cool. Yeah.
That's the one problem with it is like I harvest daily, so it's always open on my screen, and I'll go through and I'll check all crypto that I'm in because I have to go harvest. It just keeps me alert of what's going on in the market.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys buy anything yesterday on the big dip?
Just bought some Cub.
No.
Bought some Cub? Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, I missed most
Bought
of
a
that.
lot of
Luckily, I
stuff.
had an old Matic limit order sitting. That, and actually I bought a little more H bar, but it wasn't that low. Like it was just a couple cents lower. So
Yeah, what'd you
I grabbed
buy? What'd you get?
So, I
You
actually
bought all the things.
I bought all the things. Yeah. So I've had this plan forever that I've never implemented. So I finally did it yesterday. I had a bunch of money sitting in my bank account. It's like, normally I just put it in, then I just farm, DeFi farming kind of stuff. But this time I said, okay, we got a dip. I'm going to go and implement my kind of mutual fund idea where I looked at the top 10 crypto. So there's Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, XRP. Doge was on there, but I just can't buy Doge. You were talking about utility.
We're still friends.
I just can't. I see no future for that at all. Even though it might go higher, speculation can be crazy. So then, I just based on the ratio of like market caps, I bought different amounts of each thing. So it ended up being like 60% Bitcoin or maybe a little bit less, and then on down on the list. So I just spread it out, bought all the things in the top 10 except for Doge. And also except for the stable coins, because why do that?
Unless you're going to stake them.
And then just put them away. So,
Right,
and then I'll rebalance over time and as I add funds.
that's cool. Are you gonna do a post on that on Leo Finance?
I mean, I probably should. But,
Yeah, I'd like to see how you did it because I'd like to.
Video.
But
Video?
Yeah, do a video, right?
Yeah, but
Leo Finance needs more video.
But
That we do.
I gotta go back to your Doge thing because I own Doge and I like Doge, and I am a huge fan of Elon Musk. I like
Elon.
I like Mark Cuban, and I'm starting to learn who Vitalik is, the Ethereum founder.
Yep.
Yeah.
Buterin, however you say it.
Buterin, whatever. And they all support Doge. So I get that it started as a meme coin, but it's not. I don't feel like they have like a use case now. So you still don't want to go near. I guess that's my question.
Yeah, I mean, just for me personally, I like if you convince people to transact in it, then that is its utility because it's just a Bitcoin fork.
Right.
So it's all about just sending funds back and forth. But I don't ever see it being a serious transactional coin. There's
You can buy Dallas Mavericks swag.
okay. I have full respect to Elon Musk and all the rest of them as far as being able to swing markets. But just if I'm gonna just transact value in that way, I would just use Bitcoin. So
yeah, can you do that? That leads to another question. Because of the two pizza story, and how much that is. I feel like I saw somebody yesterday post on Twitter that they bought McDonald's with Bitcoin in El Salvador yesterday. And I'm like, I could never part with my, well, first of all, it's not vegan, but anyway, I could not part with my Bitcoin because I'd be so afraid that when Bitcoin gets to $1 million, you just paid. Yeah, hey, I can be an optimist. Mitch was like, what?
I think so, Dave.
Yeah, but I just don't, I can't see spending it. I guess that's my issue. I think of it like
that's
gold.
that's Gresham's law in action. So Gresham's law is economist in 18 something or other, and he says that bad money drives out good, which means that if you have a choice, you always want to spend the thing that's going to be worth less in the future. So I'm going to spend my US dollars. I'm
That
going
would
to
be
keep my crypto.
Doge. Yeah,
That'd be Doge.
Doge.
Yeah. Well, if I have Bitcoin and Doge, then I'm going to spend the Doge first. That's absolutely true.
So I'm just going to create articles for you to write or videos for you to do, because now you should do one on Gretchen's law and how everybody should get rid of their Doge and keep their Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I think it's more so crypto versus versus
US,
fiat
yeah,
dollars.
fiat.
Get rid of your
Well,
fiat
it's-
dollars.
Good-
Yeah, it's a decision
point.
at every
Good point.
point.
Good point.
Whenever you have crypto, then you have to make
Yeah.
choices between crypto.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm I'm not interested in saving US dollars. I am interested in saving crypto.
I get it. And I just, so you got like a big poster in your house of Michael Saylor, like on there, like the freaking diamond hand god. I just,
He's pretty hardcore.
yeah.
It's funny because as an investor in real estate, I look at that asset class and I see that thing going up, right? I see it making more money. I see it going up in value. So awesome. It's getting harder to buy, right? It's you need more dollars to get into real estate. And so usually in these cycles, these parts of the cycle in the real estate world where we go to dollars, right? We shift over to dollars, we start holding dollars because we know the dollars are cheap right now, they're easy to get. And at some point, the real estate asset becomes more affordable. But we're at a point in the marketplace where it's like, will the dollar exist, 8 years from now? Will it be there 8 years from now? And if it's not, what is the currency that we'll be buying in? It certainly won't be gold. We'll never go to buy real estate with gold. We just won't be doing those transactions, right? But it could be crypto. We could be buying real estate with Bitcoin in the future, or some other asset that like Sol just came out of nowhere and has just been riding the ranks of, I think it's almost as much market cap as BNB right now. It's like it's getting up there.
Yeah, I bought some Solana yesterday. So.
Of course you did, right? It's in the top 10.
It's in the top 10.
Nice job.
So yeah, I guess that's our biggest concern right now, is because right now everything about real estate says go to cash position, except the fact that cash may not be there in the future. Like the dollar may not be the currency that we're buying back these things in.
Well, I have a middle ground for you if you're interested.
I'm interested, Neil. Yeah.
So I do in my day job, I've got a tax business, and I'm also what's called a profit first professional. So if you're familiar with the book Profit First, they're all about separating your income into different accounts so that you don't overspend. Basically, it's like the envelope budgeting system, but for businesses. So if I have funds, on the 10th and 25th of every month, I spread it out into all these different accounts. But then I don't leave it in my bank account. I take that money, I put it into crypto, into US dollar assets like USDC and DAI and BUSD, and then I'm yield farming on those. So I'm getting like crypto type returns from yield farms, but I'm still like one step away from dollar holdings.
Right.
That's interesting. And even the stable coins are getting what, 12%?
It
15%.
depends on where you go. Depends on how much competition there is. But yeah, anywhere from 5 to 25%, really, depending on where the market is at the particular time.
That's actually really clever, because now you're holding stable, you're holding cash, but you're out earning inflation for sure. Yeah, I mean, hopefully. Well, certainly not on like rich assets. Like definitely not beating inflation on, we'll say, like Bitcoin or real estate. Those things are going up way higher, recently anyway. And when you look at the cash flow of a real estate asset, it's like, that becomes hard to beat even at 25% would beat it. Like I'd say that's right around that sweet spot of the appreciation and then the amortization and everything. It's somewhere around that 25% spot. So that's actually a really good hold.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Great. All right, Tax Sherpa, you got your Tax Sherpa hat on. I got a
All right.
question for you.
Sure.
Oh, don't open this can of worms. I've been holding back all episode for the tax
Quick,
questions.
yeah, I'm sure. So you have Bitcoin,
Mhm.
for example, and you swap it for some Ethereum because you want to have more Ethereum. Is that a taxable event?
Yes.
Okay, so any swap. So you
Any swap.
swap Leo for Cub, that's a taxable event.
Yep.
And how do we track that kind of thing? We have to
Well,
personally.
that is a difficult question. So like for me, I hold all my crypto in a corporation, and so I can do a mark-to-market election. So I'm just doing snapshots, and I don't really have to track each individual thing. If you're holding your crypto personally, or you're not doing that other method, then you you have to do your best. There is actually a new
Do your best.
do your best. Best faith efforts is really what they want. So like if you're trading on Coinbase will provide a report for you at the end of the year, and it's just like stocks, right? And you just have I think they've actually started doing 1099-Bs.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but when it comes to like Leo Finance and
Yeah.
Cub, it gets really complicated, and we're like swapping back and forth. And
Yeah.
Walter and I were even on Ape Swap for a little while with bananas. And,
Yep.
Dark
So,
past.
yeah.
So theoretically, you're supposed to be keeping track of all that as you go. There are a couple services out there that claim they can do DeFi. I'm trying to, I think it's tokentax.co is the latest one I've seen, and this it's not cheap. They'll charge you $2,500, but they say they can figure out all of DeFi. And create the reports that you need to file your taxes. I have not used them personally, but they're the only ones I've seen that have even made that claim. So
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Any questions for Cal before we jump off? Because I know he's kind of tough to get a hold of. as this thing starts growing and starts to
I got a question. I got a question for Cal. So if you have limited supplies, you're not Neil McSpadden with all his money out there. How do you make a decision between the Geyser, Cub BUSD, the new Matic, the P Leo? I get overwhelmed with this, and I just sort of don't know. Like, do you just split it into equal shares, or how do you do that? That's my question.
Yeah, so I mean, it would come down to evaluating what exactly you're looking for, because if you're looking for, say, set it and forget it, very consistent and reliable, APY, that's going to come from the Geyser. If we're just talking about pooling Leo, the Geyser definitely has the most consistent APY. It's last time I looked at it, it was somewhere around 25%, and it's kind of always between, say, 18 and 25%. So you're looking for consistency and the ability to just leave it there and not think about it. That's where you want to be. The other benefit is that you're getting paid out in Leo. So that's kind of the benefit of being in the Geyser. The benefit of being on Cub is obviously the APY is higher. You're on Binance Smart Chain, so the fees are lower as opposed to Ethereum. You can see your dividends through the UI. And it's either a benefit or a negative that you're getting paid in Cub, depending on how you feel about Cub versus Leo. So there's obviously trade-offs to both of those. And then P Leo is going to introduce obviously a third one where you're going to have to say, okay, I can get paid in the Polygon Cub version of the token and pool over there, and the APY will obviously be super high at the beginning, since it'll be at launch. So obviously just trade-offs, and then you're on another blockchain. So if your interest is to spread risk, then then you could go into all three of those and have some exposure to all three blockchains, and you'll be earning Leo, Polygon, Cub, and Cub, and then you're kind of getting three different income sources, and different payout schedules and all that stuff. So just kind of preference, and then just what you're looking for. If you want to maximize return and have a little bit more active management, then you're going to probably go to the BLEO pool on Binance Smart Chain. So
and just a follow-up question for you, Cal. Oh shit, I lost my train of thought. All right, don't worry about it.
Awesome. So words of inspiration, Cal, on Leo Finance and Cub in the future. Tell us how bright the future looks.
Yeah. Right.
The future looks interesting. So I'm really excited about the mobile app. I think it's going to bring in, I think it's almost like a mini Project Blank, where Project Blank, as Neil was saying, is going to bring in like a whole new slew of users that wouldn't have used Leo Finance before, since they don't want to do long form content. But I think the mobile app is kind of a half step toward that, and obviously the mobile app is going to be used for Project Blank too. So I think we're going to see an influx of users when the mobile app goes live, and we're going to see a lot of attention come through. And then for Cub, I think the IDO system is really radically changing the tokenomics, and it's not an overnight thing. So that's kind of what we got at before, that it's definitely going to be a slow grind, but a snowball effect as we see those IDOs roll out.
Yeah, I like it. That's exactly what we're looking for today. We've been like begging Mitch to get you on the podcast for a while now, and it's all come down to basically these questions and this kind of outlook. And I love that we're seeing the IDOs, because months ago, it became very clear that the IDOs were the secret to getting Cub onto other platforms, getting other people like buying into and believing and understanding what we're doing. And now to see the IDOs like being implemented and actually raising and doing them is, even if it was just one, it's proof of concept. It's proof of that we can do this and that other people can come into the platform. So I love seeing everything. I love that the marketing team is consistently putting out posts and, explaining the roadmap and letting us know what the future looks like. It just makes me more bullish and, more whale mode. I'm just like, yeah, how do I buy more? Like, how do we get more in? How do I distract myself from real estate a little bit and put it into this crypto thing? And I like Neil's strategy. Maybe it is the stable coins. Maybe it is just pulling some stable coins and keeping those rolling for opportunities like we just saw. The market drops a little bit, and even with Cub, like Cub just dropped from 70 to 52. Like I wish I was holding some more cash. I really wish I was in a bigger cash position at that point to be able to capitalize on some of that. And lesson learned. So thank you, Cal.
Liquid cash.
And Neil, thank you so much for the explanation of Splinterlands, right? And your tax insights, which not financial advice.
Not financial advice.
But it's good to see other people who are in the investing world, but on the digital side, completely on the digital side, completely in crypto, building assets and leveraging and using like these tools to build wealth. Like you guys are successful in what you're doing, and you're helping a lot of other people be successful in it as well. So
Awesome.
You get the same mindset as us for building 100 millionaires, right? Like we're just like, this is the same thing. Let's just keep expanding it out. And we're going to jump off. Mitch, why don't you give us your phrase? How do you sign us off, brother?
Do everything that falls into what we just talked about, which is organize and collect.
Mike Shine, close us out, my man.
Massive income from passive income. Peace. Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Yep.
To learn more about Cal and Neil, you can get them on leofinance.io. They are both active members. They're always creating content. And if you have any questions about how to sign up, you can go to scaredycatguide.com. Mitch Jorsky will hook you up with walking you through the process of getting onto Leo Finance, which is way easier. And if you want to write us a sweet review on iTunes, we appreciate it. Go to the 100 Millionaires podcast on iTunes, write a sweet review. Cheers to your success and your choice. Always work with the best. Remember, the point is not to work, it's to generate income. See you guys on the next one.
Bye.